The family of the famous imprisoned drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman made the headlines of several media and news agencies on Thursday, the 5th of January, 2023, as Ovidio Guzman, the son of the notorious kingpin, was captured. His arrest sparked an insane riot that metamorphosed into a deadly war in the northern state of Sinaloa. The expectation of an average family is to leave a good legacy for your children and train them to add value to society. Such is not the case for the family of the notorious drug lord El Chapo. Criminality seemed to be a valuable inheritance in his family. He initiated his sons into the cartel gang before his imprisonment so they could continue his criminality legacy. That sounds very weird, right? Well, he's probably very fulfilled producing criminals that will be greater than him. One of his sons, Ovidio Guzman, who is popularly known as El Raton, the Mouse, continued the criminality legacy of his father by taking over the leadership of Sinaloa before he was finally arrested. You wouldn't want to miss the details of the arrest. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, as we will be taking you through the details of his arrest, what led to the arrest, and his journey into becoming a strong cartel member. His journey to becoming the leader of the Sinaloa cartel. Ovidio Guzman Lopez was born on the 29th of March, 1990. He grew up to see his father run a multi-million-dollar cartel. When he was 5 years old, his parents enrolled him in CESA School, which is also known as a Dusko Center for Education and Culture. The school was based on the Legionnaires of Christ's doctrine with the sole aim of raising young stars into reputable men and women in the society. He had a difficult childhood due to the bad reputation of his father. His father was sentenced to 20 years in prison for drug trafficking and bribes. His father's reputation was always on his resume. Everyone knew he was the son of the imprisoned drug lord El Chapo. This stigma affected his relationship with other students in school. He was always exempted from school events and birthday parties. He was once removed from a trip to Disney World despite the promise of his mother to pay the accommodation fee for everyone. In 2001, Guzman Lopez was in 4th grade when El Chapo, his father, escaped from prison. This wasn't his last escape, as he had other prison breaks after this. Lopez joined his father's Sinaloa cartel in 2008 at the age of 18. He rapidly became an important member of the cartel, as he contributed largely to the production and trafficking of narcotics worth hundreds of pounds. Within a short period of time, he rose to be the leader of the cartel. The United States Treasury Department immediately placed Guzman Lopez and his brother on the Do Not Deal list at their takeover of the Sinaloa cartel. They could not legally conduct business with any U.S. citizen for more than 13 years. However, the takeover led to a massive expansion of the cartel, raking so many millions of dollars into their pockets every single month. Lopez didn't hesitate to eliminate every one of his competitors and anyone that seemed to be a government agent or informant trying to trail him. However, Lopez's life wasn't just about criminality. He did some charity in his city, Culiacan, toward the Christmas season in 2021 by organizing a massive outdoor event. He distributed several gifts such as cars, bicycles, household appliances, and toys for kids who live around the area. The initials of his father were inscribed on every gift shared during the event. El Chapo's second arrest was orchestrated by the Mexican Navy, and he was eventually captured on the 22nd of February 2014. Surprisingly, the kingpin organized another successful prison break the following year. The business kept growing bigger through the leadership of Guzman Lopez and his brother, Alfredo. The trafficking of Colombian cocaine and Mexican-grown cannabis was widely distributed across the United States. As you all know, the U.S. authorities don't give up on their wanted criminals until they see their end. El Chapo was finally captured again on the 8th of January 2016. This was a year after his son Lopez was arrested. This time around, the Mexican government wasn't ready to take chances. They immediately extradited him to the United States on the 19th of January 2017. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to defend himself against 17 counts of charges in court, despite having the financial means to hire the best lawyer. He couldn't get out of this one. He was already facing the nightmare of spending the rest of his life in jail. He was finally sentenced to life in prison on July 2019. Ovidio Guzman Lopez's arrest turned Sinaloa into a war zone. Prior to Lopez's recent arrest on January 5, 2023, which turned the city of Sinaloa into a war zone, he was once arrested in 2019, but was later released when his cartel members waged an all-out war in response to his arrest. It was gradually developing into a full-scale war which forced the security agency to release him. It was a huge surprise to them Lopez has grown enough to control the big criminal organization his father left behind that his arrest had to turn the city into a war zone. His release raised a sharp criticism against Mr. Lopez Obrador, who later clarified that the decision was taken to protect the lives of over 800,000 civilians in the city. Before this first arrest, Ovidio Guzman Lopez and one of his brothers were accused of being in charge of nearly a dozen methamphetamine laboratories in Sinaloa, as well as conspiring to distribute cocaine and marijuana across the United States, producing about 1,300 to 2,200 kilograms of hard drugs per month. He was also accused of ordering the elimination of informants, also a drug trafficker, and a popular Mexican singer who refused to perform in his wedding. Back to the hot gist, the recent arrest. On January 5, 2023, the Mexican security forces scored a high-profile win in the fight against a powerful cartel by capturing the son of the jailed kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman just a few days to the visit of President Joe Biden. Ovidio Guzman, also known as El Raton, the Mouse, was captured in the northwestern city of Culiacan and was immediately flown to Mexico on a military plane. The arrest was a result of 6 months of intelligence work trying to track down the 32-year-old son of El Chapo, who has been brilliantly handling his father's criminal businesses since the extradition of his father to the United States in 2017. The United States actually offered a reward of $5 million for anyone that can provide information that would aid his quick arrest. He was later captured in his house. Lopez opened fire at them from within the house, but they were able to gain access to the house after several intensive shootouts. Lopez surrendered and was apprehended without any further delay. The war was far from done. Little did they know that a full-scale war has just begun. The joy of arresting their longtime wanted criminal faded away within a short time. The moment the news of Lopez's arrest reached his cartel members, they launched an attack with full force, just like the first arrest in 2019. They began to set buses and cars on fire on the road after setting up roadblocks at every angle. According to Sinaloa Governor Ruben Roca Moya, at least 7 security members were dead with 21 injured. About 8 civilians were also injured. Gunfire hit 2 planes in the airport, of which one was about to take off. This led to over 100 flights being canceled. Fortunately, no passenger was injured in the plane. A video release showing the passengers crouching and cowering in their seats. One of the passengers said, "As we were accelerating for takeoff, we heard gunshots very close to the plane. That's when we all threw ourselves to the floor." 2 Mexican Air Force planes were forced to make emergency landings due to the gunfire from the cartel members. The authorities launched support of the ground operation by a helicopter gunship. 1,000 troops were deployed immediately to Sinaloa to assist with the ongoing security issues. It was also recorded that 10 soldiers and 19 suspects were killed during and after the arrest. According to the Defense Minister Luis Crescencio Sandoval, 35 military personnel were seriously injured and 21 gunmen were arrested. A colonel who commanded an infantry battalion was among the victims. His team came under a massive attack immediately after the arrest. The event sent so much fear to the public. Justin Golbas, with her husband and their 8-year-old son, were traveling along Sinaloa on their way back to Los Angeles just before the riot began. Passers-by told them that their bus would be at risk if they moved further. They parked by the roadside and waited for about 16 hours before they were allowed to continue their journey. Mrs. Golbas said, "Our bus had just passed a spot where it happened. Literally, if we had waited another 30 minutes before passing, we would have been in the cross of it." All of these happened prior to the U.S. President Joe Biden visit to Mexico next week for a Northern American Leaders Summit. However, he will now be arriving on Sunday, a day earlier than previously expected. His reason for wanting to come earlier is not known yet. Despite the massive attack, it seems the authorities are not ready to give up or release him this time, no matter the pressure. Trust you enjoyed every bit of the hot gist. Thanks for watching.